Ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy, the M-Balm, here with it's a little bit of an innovative thing, maybe not. I know people have done probably something along these lines before but I'll be honest with you, it's the first time I'm actually going to be doing it. I will call this Rants and Rages, because I'm on the road, and what happens on the road is road rage, and some people rant, but I'm going to just do this off the cuff because I can. So I'm going to do it, and it'll be fine. It will be fine. We will have a good time together. I'm currently in the car, and I have approximately a 40 or so minute drive, so I figured why not come on here and talk to you lovely people out there that may or may not want to listen to my fucking blabbing. So I am the host of the M-Balm Effect. Obviously, you know that because you're on this channel or one of my social media profiles, which, by the way, it varies. I get it. But I'm on here to create more content if I can. And if I have time to kill in between driving and all that, then let's do it. Let's do it. Some people have given me feedback that may or may not have watched or listened to the podcast from this past week, and that's okay. I mean, some people are upsetty spaghetti about us talking politics, and I had a couple people take the trash out for me and just delete me off their friends list. I've had people unfollow. That's fine. That's fine. It's astounding to me, and it amazes me that people get angry about something like that when I'm the one paying the goddamn bills to keep this show afloat, to keep the fucking thing going. I'm the one paying the bills out of pocket to do the show. And people are upset that I'm taking the time out of my life to talk about things I want to talk about, including things that are happening in today. You understand? I'm talking about things that are happening in real time today. And people are upset that I didn't, side with their side, or whatever the case may be. I think people that know me or are starting to get to know me understand that I'm somebody who is in the middle. You can call me a moderate, an independent, whatever you want to call me. You can call me whatever you want. I get called a lot of things: dickhead, asshole, face fucker, whatever you want to call me, M-Balm. I don't give a shit. I'm not here to play games and do things that other people want me to do. I don't have to answer to anybody for this podcast. I don't have to answer to anybody to do my show that I pay out of pocket to keep afloat. I don't have to. By the way, if you didn't realize already, there's no video to this. It's just audio. If you're still listening, congratulations. You win nothing. You win fucking nothing. Yeah, so that's something I've been dealing with this past week, and I'm fine with it. Trash takes itself out. I've had to do the effort and work and energy to get rid of people out of my life willingly already, but if they take themselves out of the equation, it saves me time, energy, and money, because I don't have to do. I mean, it's something that I pay for my phone too, so whoever's going to cause me grief while I'm on my phone can get right the fuck out, because they don't give me any type of money to run it, to run my phone, to run the show. Nothing. No, you don't pay nothing. So I'm fine. This week, in a few days, on Saturday, well, it was originally going to be Bogart and Justin, nominee from the Bogart podcast, and they were supposed to come on. Bogart gave me some unfortunate news that he has to move. He's taking priority to do real life situations like moving over coming onto a fucking show like mine where it's nothing but a bunch of degenerates running it like me because I'm the only one running it, and our co-hosts are beautiful people. So, Austin, Dash, and Andrea and Jerry, they haven't been on in a hot minute. They've been, taking priority of real life situations than to be on my little show. And look, if you didn't understand, that's a fucking bit. He's got real life situations he's got to take care of. Bogart, do you, man? We will fucking reschedule. I promise we will reschedule. I told you. You are welcome back on the show. I know you fucking stun gunned me the last time you were on, but you paid me some money to do it, so I'm not that mad about it, okay? Now that you drink again, we can get you blitzed, and I can stun gun you and not pay you a fucking dime because I've already paid for you to be on the show by paying to keep the lights on, per se, to keep the show going, so we can stream, you know what I'm saying? That's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to do it, and I'm fine with it. So that's happening Saturday. Justin Nominee's coming in still, and our boys, who I guess you could officially claim to be part of the TME crew now, Billy Brown and Charlie Wilson Hacker. I love hanging around those guys. They're fucking awesome. And they've been on the last few episodes, so it's great. Austin dipping out on us. He's got a thing going on again. He's choosing important things over us, which is fine. We won't hold it against you, Austin. I promise we won't. We might just have you dress in a chicken suit and go out on Westridge Road in Greece in the Rochester area in front of the Kodak Theater and do the chicken dance. I don't know. Something to pay back for the loss of time with this show. I don't know yet. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. I'll have to go in my planner that I don't even have. I don't own a planner, but I'll go in one anyways and write it down so I don't forget. But I hope everyone's week is going great. Mine, it's so-so. It's so-so. And here's why. I was in a few meetings because I work unlike some of you out there. I have a job. I do all these fucking things. I'm a family man. I'm a father, a son, the Holy Spirit, all the above. And I was in a fucking few meetings yesterday, and I got a little email, I guess, from the state of New York claiming that I was speeding 58 miles per hour in a 40 mile per hour work zone on the expressway, which initially is 55 miles per hour. Now, that's very highly unlikely. I haven't gotten a ticket since I don't know when. I think probably when I was fucking brand new to driving or whatever. It's been a long time. And I don't get pulled over very often. I think I only have gotten pulled over a handful of times. And each time I really don't get any tickets. You know, I'm not speeding out here like a bunch of assholes do already on the reg. You know, and so now I got a $50 fine I have to pay, or I can contest it. I don't know if it's worth it though, because here's the thing. Their word is their word, and that's it. Their word is God's word. What I say doesn't mean a fucking thing. I could say, yeah, you know, Billy Bob was driving the car and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you could say the speedometer probably said 30 miles per hour, not 58. They're not going to care. They're not going to care. It's the courts. They don't care. They want their money. They want their money. Okay? Now, realistically, evidence would show how the hell, I mean, look, I was driving earlier today and I was going 35 and a 35, and they had one of these little machines that clock your speed, and it said I was going 47. And because I'm a law-abiding citizen, I didn't whip my phone out and record it, but it happened. Now, the legitimacy of this photo that happened apparently on October 8th, again, this is over a month ago. How the fuck am I supposed to remember what I was doing? It could have been wrong when they gunned my speed in that work zone. Now, I get it. You want to save lives. You want to save every single construction worker out there eating their sandwiches and tooling around with their lunchbox, talking about the football game that happened this past weekend, how many broads they fucked, while one man or woman is doing all the work of about 15 people. You have one guy or one woman or whatever, one person doing the job of 15 people while the other 14 are eating sandwiches and talking about sex. Talking about sex. That's what they do. So nobody was around. There was a bunch of cones from what the pictures showed. And again, realistically, how do you prove that I was legitimately going that speed in a 40-mile-per-hour work zone? You really don't, because at the end of the day, you don't see the speedometer in the car, and I don't know. I think it's questionable. If I just go ahead and pay the $50 fine, I'm self-incriminating, which in New York State, you can't be a criminal because bail reform has made it very difficult to be one. You could literally go outside right now, run outside your home, and go stab an elderly man in an ATM getting $200 out for his medications and steal his money. Because at that time, he's gonna be dead. He won't need the money nor the medications, so the money will benefit you better than him at that time. And if they do catch you, they will arrest you and give you an appearance ticket, which you will just rip up promptly and throw it away anyway and not show up and be home in time for dinner and a crime. Because that's what we do in New York State. You know, back in the day, you could do a dinner and a movie with your significant other or your family. You dinner at Applebee's and turn on a nice movie. Now you go to Chili's. You get a nice, good old-fashioned appetizer. Maybe you'll get the chicken dish that you've always loved to have when you go there. And then you can go out and set a fire somewhere in the suburbs, burn down a whole house. You can go do a home invasion. You might even just be able to just walk into a Walmart, if you know what I'm talking about. And you can just repeat the process over and over again, and you'll be fine. You could steal a Kia, take a joyride, and you can shoot out the window and possibly hit a 14-year-old like a few nights ago. Some 14-year-old got shot, but that's impossible because Kathy Hochul, our lovely governor from Buffalo, New York, who now resides in Albany, says that gun violence is down, crime is down, all the statistics are low, since 2006. So you can't really say that a 14-year-old got shot because you're not supposed to. You're supposed to just play along with it and say, okay, well, that didn't happen. And for all we know, it could have been an orange-tipped plastic pistol shooting plastic BBs, those little yellow round things that people either still do or used to do airsoft with. But now I'm stuck in a predicament. Do I pay the $50 fine and self-incriminate? Or do I contest this camera work zone ticket? Because law enforcement has their hands tied. Their main job in New York State now is to go out and collect state revenue via camera work zone violations. Because you and I both know Kathy Hochul, she's struggling. She's struggling. We are in the midst of inflation. We are in trying times with finances. And Kathy Hochul, our lovely governor here in New York State, is feeling the pinch. She's feeling the squeeze. So now she's at the grocery store doing some shopping. And she has to choose one of two products to keep her alive. She either buys the bread or she buys the milk. The bread or the milk. In which case, she's going to buy the bread. Because even though she's probably most likely at this point in time in her life gone through menopause, I'm sure somewhere she can squeeze out some dusty milk out of those teats of hers. And now she can buy the bread, bring it home, pump out some old dusty milk, might even be curdled, I don't know. And she can have a nice slice of bread and a beautiful glass of dusty curdled milk from her teat. And that's how she's able to survive, because she cannot afford both of those at, say, a Tops or a Wegmans or a Stewart's, whatever they have where she lives. I mean, I know she comes probably to Buffalo, so I'm sure she can run into one of those stores. But the problem is, though, is if she doesn't get the state revenue, she won't even be able to afford the bread or the pump to get this milk out. So we have to set up these work zone cameras in order to get these violations going, so that way you can easily just get some revenue, $50 per person. Say, you know, you get 100, you can make some really quick cash off of these work zone cameras. You don't even need to employ a police force at this point. You're saving money on paying the police. State troopers will be null and void. Artificial intelligence will take over, and cameras will be the next state trooper, docking your speed and sending you a ticket through the mail. That's how New York State's doing their way of fighting real crime. Real crime is going, you know, over the speed limit. You could smash out windows and steal from stores. You could assault an elderly old lady on an elevator and rob her pocketbook from her. But if you dare go over the speed limit, you will now be in dire straits, and you will pay the fine so Kathy Hochul can afford groceries. Okay? That's just how it's going to go. I don't know about you, but I like to discuss all kinds of different things. And since I live in Rochester, New York, I live in this state, I get it all the time. I see it all the time on the news. You turn on the news, there's always a Kia stolen. You see people doing some weird shit, hanging out of windows of Hyundais that they just stole, pointing guns out the window. I mean, I'm talking like pistols and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the fun thing to do in New York State, in Rochester, New York. And so, being from Rochester, I see a lot of different things. And on the podcast, I made a little jokey joke about how Rochesterians, including myself, are all garbage. Because we're such garbage, we eat garbage plates. That's why we named our food garbage plates, because we're such garbage, trash people. And I'm still waiting for the royalty check from Tony Hinchcliffe and Joe Biden for utilizing a joke that I came up with before Tony Hinchcliffe made that joke at the rally at Madison Square Garden. As I'm driving over this fucking one-laner bridge. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. Look, they even got speed bumps where I'm going now, because people were going so fast in a 25-mile-per-hour zone, they were probably going 70 and not getting a $50 fine because it's not a work zone. They don't have cameras here. They don't know what's going on. It's dark, it's damp, it's dingy, and nobody gives a fuck. Except for when I do something, allegedly. Now we gotta send him a ticket, a bill, a fine for $50. Now you're probably wondering, well, $50, it's not so bad. And you're right, it's probably not so bad. I could easily pay it. But the problem is now I'm gonna be self-incriminating. I don't want to be a criminal. I may be garbage, but I'm not an animal, okay? Because if you're an animal here in New York State, you will be taken out of your home, shot in the back of the head, and then decapitated, just like Peanut the squirrel, to be checked for rabies, which they will find you have none. So you don't want to be an animal here, okay? You can be somewhat of a pariah, but don't be an animal. Because if you are an animal, you will end up just like Fred the raccoon and Peanut the squirrel, and they will just decapitate you right in front of your fucking family. You know, right now, pets are in danger, okay? If you have a pet in your home, dog, cat, chicken, rooster, lizard, especially squirrel and raccoon, dinosaur, whatever, you better hold on tight to them. Because the DEC might have to come to your home, kick your fucking door down, and take them out back and chop their head off with an axe right in front of you and your kids. And they'll say, this is what you get for having this animal in your house. And if your husband's an animal, they're going to take him out too. And they'll fucking decapitate him in front of you and your kids as well. You don't want that. So don't be an animal. So now, if I do pay the $50, I'm out of $50. Do I just go get my money's worth? Do I just go back out in a work zone somewhere on the thruway or on the highway and just hit a few people? Do I just go out there and run over a couple construction workers eating their sandwiches to get my money's worth? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just go ahead and get my money's worth. Pay them $50 and go run over some people on the expressway in a work zone. Maybe I'll just do it. Or maybe I'll just pay the $50, suck it up, and just shake my fist in the air, God damn you, Kathy Hochul, and just call it a day. Which is more probable than doing what I just said. Because, again, that would also make me an animal if I go and do that. Then I have to repeat the process. DEC, head chopped off, rabies, no rabies. I don't want that. I'm a loving husband and a loving father. And I don't need them to witness their animal husband getting decapitated in the back of the yard with the neighbors watching. I just can't have it. So, on that note, I survived just well enough to be able to pay that and go to bed at night and live another day. I live another day. Doesn't matter to me. It's not my fault that our system's so corrupt. Again, I understand. You want to save lives. But now you're killing my checking account. Nobody died that day. When I drove on by that work zone, nobody was even outside. Most of the time when you drive through work zones, no one's outside. Especially when it's fall. You know, it's getting closer now to the winter months. It is currently November 13th. And again, that little violation I got said I was doing this in the wrong on October 8th. Over a month ago. Do I really want to self-incriminate for something I can't even remember? That's like saying somebody killed somebody murdered someone, and they don't even remember doing it. It's kind of crazy. But it's all right. I mean, New York has to have some type of revenue. Am I right? Because they're too busy just bringing all kinds of people in from different states and countries. And we have subway systems in New York City that allow all kinds of stuff happening in there. Like meth heads smoking meth and going bonkers in the corner. Or having somebody get pissed drunk. No pun intended for what I'm about to tell you here. If you didn't watch the one little clip I made, the guy was laying on the subway, just taking a leak as it's hitting some guy's shoe, and some ladies freaking out in a foreign language, recording the whole thing going down. This is the melting pot. This state is a melting pot. And you got to respect it. You got to respect what Kathy Hochul has done. She has gone from She's gone from governor to worse governor than Andrew Cuomo, which I thought back when he was in office was almost impossible. But she's conquered it. She's conquered that feat. And now, in about 2 years, we will see if she remains queen bitch of New York State. Which, if that does happen, expect more fun things to talk about. Because there'll be plenty. There always is plenty. That's the one good thing about having shitty governors and shitty politicians in office, is that things are so fucking crazy. It's like turning on Comedy Central, except it's real life and it gives me content to talk shit about. Now, if they have somebody in there that cleans the streets up and doesn't allow this nonsensical, crazy bullshit to go on, then it makes it harder for me to talk about. For instance, San Francisco, they have a poop department that cleans up shit. If you didn't listen to last week's episode, well, we discussed that. They actually have a poop map, which you can Google, and you can see how many features, because that's what they call the turds. They call them features. You can see thousands of features just laying about on the ground of San Francisco. And it's fun. You can look at that map and go, wow, that whole city, let alone that whole state, is a public toilet. And I don't have to live there, so I can laugh at it. Granted, we have our problems here, but I can laugh at it. I can talk about it. I can talk shit about it. Literally, talk shit about it. And I feel good because I don't live there. I would never live there. If this place here allowed shit all over the ground, I probably wouldn't live here either. But my point is that even with all the craziness going on around us, we have to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. So if there's nonsensical chaos going on around you, why not utilize that as content for your podcast, which you do not have? I'm sure you probably don't have one. And if you do, well, good luck. It's not easy. I've been doing podcasting for going on 6 years. And each year is different from the last. I started off with co-hosts. Those people went away, got new co-hosts. Some of them stayed, some of them went. Some of them said a very, very naughty, bad word live on the air, and I had to do some work and some ass kissing, which I don't usually do, but it wasn't even my fault. But I had to apologize for such horrific language on my show, and that person's no longer with us. Not, mainly because of that, but there's a multitude of things that were good and bad for both him and us. And we had to go our separate ways. Sad. He's got potential. He's got humor. He is a funny dude, and I hope the best for him. I hope he gets his head in a better state of mind and goes for it. Just goes for it. Shoot for the fucking stars, man. Shoot for the stars. Don't go to San Francisco and lay down on the ground with all the features. Shoot for the fucking stars. Okay? So, with that being said, I hope the rest of you are having a beautiful, beautiful week. And I hope to see some of you tune in live on the M-Balm Effect, live this Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you can't do the time in your designated area, well, I'm not going to do it for you. You have a wealth of knowledge you're holding in your fucking hand right now as you're listening to this. And you can do it your own damn self. Do some math. Don't do meth. Do some math. The good with the bad. Bad with the good. And remember, Kathy Hochul depends on you if you live in New York State. So speed through work zones and pay up so she too can afford her groceries. You fucking animals. I hope you're doing well. M-Balm out. See you Saturday. Tune in Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time.